What's poppin'? What's poppin'? We back. I'm late, but it's okay. We back. It's so funny because today, like, I set the stream time for the usual, like 12:45, because that seemed to work out a lot better for everyone. And I mean, it worked out great for me because it gave me time to get home from church, eat, the whole shebang, and then be ready for the stream. And once I go back to D&D, like this week, it was going to be fine. So here's what happened. This morning I get to church and I'm just chilling, right? My mom walks up and she's like, hey, can you go pick up your stepsister? Because she's coming back from a trip today. We can't do it. And I was like, I mean, I guess. What time do I need to pick her up? And they're like, oh, you know, around noon. And I'm like, okay. I can swing that. I can make it work. I could not make it work. We did not get home until 12:45. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready at all. So I need to wait. So that's why now we are here. I was even late after the delay, but it's okay because we're here to read My Hero Academia, second to last chapter. We got the big, we got the front page. Probably the last time My Hero gets the front page on Shonen Jump, which is tragic. But I heard the Jujutsu Kaisen chapter was pretty wild this week too. All right. 429. Oh, we get the color page. I posted this on Twitter, I think Friday or Saturday. This page makes me so like nostalgic, and kind of what I said in that post was I've been following My Hero, like the manga, for half of its runtime. Like, I got caught up and started reading the manga in 2019, and I've been weekly chapters ever since. Haven't missed a chapter, and it's just still, like, it's not fully hitting me yet that next week is the last chapter. And that, like, after next week, we're done. Oh, my camera froze. What happened? What the frick? What? Hold on. I think I know what the issue is. Give me 2 seconds. One moment. Okay. So I think we're back. We should be back. So brief explanation and then I'll go back. You know, it's just like my computer to cut me off in the middle of a great heartwarming conversation. What happened was I have an episode of the podcast I'm like actively editing and I need to finish today. But I left it open and I left the Premiere project open. So if anybody was here for the the anime couple tier list, you'll remember that when I tried to like go do this stuff, I had to kick my hard drive back on, and that whole process like froze my stream. That's what it was, because the Premiere project was still open, and then like everything shuttered to a stop because it was trying to kick the thing back on. So I closed it. We should be good from here on out. Anyway, as I was saying before my computer decided to so rudely interrupt me, I've been with this series. This series has been with me for the last 5 years, and it'll definitely come up again next week. But this series has been with me through some of the highest highs in my life and some of the lowest lows. So to have followed the journey all the way to the end of my favorite series of all time is just, it's crazy because I still like cannot believe that it is coming to an end. So, hey Braden, I see you in the chat. I know you here. You were here early. You were here when we were supposed to start. So yeah, this is it, man. That's crazy. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So, I've heard... Okay, so before we jump into the chapter, here's what I'll say. I know I said I wasn't going to look at any spoilers or anything, and I didn't technically. I did look at the leaked pages, though, and the scans. Or not the scans. I looked at the pages. So... I know what's going to happen visual-wise, but I've stayed very far away from anyone talking about what anyone has said, what any of the implications of that are. So, but next week I am... How did we freeze again? What is open that is pulling on my hard drive? Bro, I'm gonna blow a gasket, dude. What is open on my hard drive that is, like, pulling at me here? Okay, I'm closing everything that I don't need. Because I don't want to get mid-chapter. I don't understand why this is such an issue. Because nothing that's open should be affecting my hard drive. Okay. Are we good? I literally didn't have any issues streaming the other day. And now I have all these issues. Think we're good. I'm going to give it a minute. But I think we're good. Also, at the end of the stream, I'm probably going to make the thumbnail for next week's stream. And I will definitely make sure I'm on time for that one. But, as I was saying before I got so rudely interrupted and frozen again, it's all good. I bet I know what it is. It's that. I bet it's those. I had File Finder open. Anyway, next week, or I guess this coming week now, I'm going to be off of Twitter entirely from Thursday to Sunday. And then I'm not going to look at any of the leaks. Because, like, it's the final chapter. You only get to react to the final chapter for the first time once. So, I'm, like, staying off everything, not reading anything. I'll be off of Twitter. I'm going to try to stay off of Instagram. And I already have a plan because, like, I have a lot of downtime at work. So in the downtime is when I scroll Twitter. So I'm like, okay, whenever I have the downtime, I'm going to script out a YouTube short or something and be productive and still fulfill that, like, I need to kill downtime. So, okay. That being said, I've heard this chapter is kind of controversial, so let's just jump right into it. All I heard about my quirk was that it was a freak variant unrelated to others in my family history. Out of nowhere, my mom, dad, sister, uncle, aunt, grandma, grandpa, and great-grandpa stopped being nice to me. Oh. Horikoshi, you dirty dog. I see you. I see you. I see you. They tied me up and locked me in the basement. I was so scared and sad. I started crying and screaming, so they sewed my mouth shut to keep it from opening wide. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many years went by, but one day they told me the country's doomed and tossed a bunch of water and baked goods at me. After that, I never saw them again. Ever again. Some more time passed, and with a big crash, something cut an opening down into my basement. Just like that, I was free to go outside. This is chapter number 429, I Am Here. I wonder if the last chapter is going to be titled. Okay, so this is that mysterious character. The sunlight was painful and scary because I wasn't used to it. What had I done wrong? Why did I have to feel sad? All this time I've been so scared and sad, so why are all these people smiling so much? All right, here we go. I've always loved seeing people smile. That's why I set out to be a hero. Oh, Chaco, you could have just done the right thing like a plain old hero. Yet, you went above and beyond and spared a thought for me. I got to live on... Yeah! This is what I was talking about last week. I got to live on at the cost of Himiko's life. This is what I was talking about last week, where we got to dive into the guilt of her being on, like, borrowed time. In the sense of Toga died so that she could live. And I'm so glad... Yeah! Oh, Golden, you got here just in time. Welcome. We just started the chapter. Like, legitimately, this is page 3 and 4. Or 4 and 5, I guess. It's my fault. She's Uraraka! Alright. Alright, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I have no clue what they talk about. I've seen the panels. I have no clue what they talk about. So... Deku, why are you here? How do you... I just knew. Somehow. So I leapt over with One for All. He's using what he's got left, bro. Those, like, last embers. Because this is the spot where we had our heart-to-heart. That's not what I meant. I said I was heading home for now. Which would have been fine, but I had a feeling you'd be here. Why come, though? When I don't feel like being seen. Sorry. But I want you to show me what you're going through. Because, Uraraka, you've always been this way. Even back during the entrance exam. You're so right. Hori is cooking, dude. He is He's spitting, bro. It's my quirk. Sorry for stopping you. But, well, it's a bad omen to trip and fall. And with the points we needed to pass, can you give him some of the extra points I earned? Oh, Deku's cooking right now. All along without fail. But Deku, well, it just screams do your best. I kind of like it. You prioritize others over yourself. During the sports festival, too. Every time since way back. You've been saving me every step of the way. You're my hero, dude. I'm saying IzuOcha's canon. I don't even need to read the rest of the chapter. Everyone's like, he didn't say I love you. He didn't have to. He didn't have to. This is a love confession, dude. He's like, listen, all these different steps, all this time throughout the last year, at the entrance exam, and with the points, and you're the one who, like, taught me that Deku could be a good thing, and that's my hero name now, and you did your best during the sports festival, and helped me when Black Whip broke out, and then you're the one who convinced people that I needed to stay and stood up for me, which no one had ever done. You're my hero. Let Horikoshi cook, bro. Which is why I can't keep taking that strength of yours for granted. Holding a hand can be enough to soothe the pain. Oh, this is good. This is good. Himiko, it's my fault she's dead. When heroes need protecting, I'm jumping around. Who will be there to protect them? If only I didn't get stabbed. If only my head wasn't full of pointless thoughts. Because her quirk let her share blood with others. But it didn't have to end like that. I bet I could have found another way. If only I'd figured her out sooner. Maybe it would have gone differently if we met as little kids. I get it. The same thing's been weighing on me about Tenko. About Tomura Shigaraki, I mean. I was told that I couldn't tackle that battle the same way as all the others. All for One himself said it. That the path I chose was a thorny one. Oh, here we go. They're like relating. They're like, yo, listen, I get it. I feel it. I feel you. And I think that's very masterful. Don't let me forget. At the end, when we finish the chapter, I want to go on a tirade because I've seen everybody whining about all the villains being dead and why that's like bad writing. And I want to dive into that, but I want to finish the chapter first. Even so, I know if we keep going above and beyond to reach out, even when nobody's asking, it'll make a difference. Ah, she really is here. Bro, look. He was floating, bro. They were gonna... You see that? See that? He was floating, bro. They're going up. They're going whoop. Oh. Oh, are we getting like a brief explanation of what's up with his quirk here? Okay. Ah, she really is here. Uraraka, we're here for you too. Oh, Chaco, you silly head. I was waiting for you to open up to me. You know, you can say whatever's on your mind. And then we get... There's the ember. That was a big burst you used to get here. How's the ember doing? It's fine. Huh? The ember. Wait, you mean... No, hold on. Why didn't you say anything? Ah, that's right, because they didn't know that he's quirkless now. I completed One for All, that amalgamation of power woven together by courage and heroism. Going forward, as long as everyone contributes to the weaving... What? Where's that? That bothers me. Broadening the scope of the billboard chart, you say. That's one part of the plan, yeah. But only once the country's on its feet again, of course. It's clear that plenty of folks beside us pro heroes played a huge role in the war, which is why we should also be giving props to to heroes in the original sense of the word and not just currently employed professional capital H heroes. Hawk's kind of based on that one. I thought you might want to lean away from the whole popularity contest altogether. That makes sense if you're only seeing the cons of the system and none of the pros. But I'm talking about an update that doesn't toss the baby out with the bathwater. Because even the greatest of all time can only handle so much. And if we're hoping to save more folks, those saviors got to include more than just us pros. I see, in hopes of cultivating any number of great heroes. Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. So what's up with this dude? Why? Why just me? Why did I suffer? You there, boy. Oh, come on, Grandma. Don't... Come on, Grandma. Hold on, are we gonna get Granny redemption arc here? I still wonder whether or not a hero helped that little boy after I walked away. Now and then it keeps me up at night. That day, Izuku Midoriya demonstrated to society the need to support each other. He taught us that sitting back and doing nothing isn't an option. I know that what he did hit home with society, and I bet that someday soon, you'll be just fine because Granny is here to help. Hey, is all well, you two? Heroes will have time to kill. What is that in relation to? Hold on. I gotta figure out the paneling here. So is it... I know that what he did hit society and that someday soon heroes will have time to kill? Or is it someday soon you'll be just fine because Granny is here to help? I think that's how it's supposed to go. I think this is the way it's supposed to go. And this heroes will have time to kill. I think it's... So I think, okay, so let me see if I got this right. I completed One for All, that amalgamation of power woven together by courage and heroism. That's a finished statement. Ooh. Going forward, as long as everyone contributes to the weaving, heroes will have time to kill. This is one of those moments where seeing it in the anime will make it better, because it'll be one voiced narrator or multiple different voice narrators for that scene in particular. Ida here definitely caught them premarital hand-holding. He had to break that up. He said, no premarital hand-holding here. Not allowed on school grounds. Well, I guess they're not on school grounds, but you know what I mean. They're dude, you can't look at this chapter and say IzuOcha is not canon. Like, let's go back. We got You're My Hero, and then we got like this comforting thing. They're bonding over this. I don't know how people look at this and say it's bad writing. Like, legitimately don't understand that, because this is like what everything with their relationship has been building towards. And I think I really like how it got set up with their last conversation and the dynamic of Toga and Shigaraki, and then Uraraka and Deku, and like how they're paralleling each other and not like perfectly like the same, but it's a mirror, and they can relate because it's very similar situations. And saving Toga and Shigaraki means something so much different than the physical side of it. So I've seen a lot of bad takes on Twitter this week. One was that Endeavor suffered no consequences for his abusive and all like the illegal things he did. And I'm like, okay, let's break that down real quick. Endeavor definitely got punishment for what he did. Even in like the physical sense, right? Like, he's missing an arm now, and he's not like, he's retiring as a hero. He can't be a hero anymore. Like, so there's that aspect of it. There's also this whole aspect of like, I hate that. I swear that Twitter users who read My Hero don't actually read the story. There's no way. Because if you take like the Endeavor argument where they're like, Endeavor suffered no consequences for being a bad person. And I'm like, yes, he did. Because he has physical consequence. Like, he has a giant scar on his eye. He's missing his right arm. He was in a wheelchair the last time we saw him. But then there's also the non-physical, non-tangible consequences of, like, all his kids are moving away and leaving him. And that's a direct, what's the word I'm looking for? That's the direct, like, consequence of the actions he did when they were kids, when they were growing up. Like, now none of them want to be around him. And like Natsuo said in that chapter, I'm getting married. You're never going to meet her. She's never going to meet you. You're never going to see my kids. I don't want anything to do with you. And that is a direct correlation to how he treated them as kids. So that's punishment, because now he's cutting ties with one of his sons. The other son's going to die because he didn't interact with Dabi at all in the way that he wanted him to interact. Like, if he would have treated Toya properly, there you go. Okay, it's another son who's going to die. And then Fuyumi is, I think she was moving away. She was also moving away. She was never as harsh towards him, but it seems like she's closing that door too. So the only one who's still like going to have any kind of normal relationship with Endeavor is Shoto. And that's it. So out of your 4 kids, one of them is still going to talk to you? That seems like a pretty bad punishment. Like, I don't know. I feel like Twitter MHA fans don't read the story for subtext and anything that's underlying underneath the actual plot. Like for example, continuing down the line of everyone was like, wow, it's so great that all these heroes got to live and all the villains had to die. And Shigaraki had to die and Deku had killed him because he's a murderer. And like Toga died because da-da-da-da-da-da. And Spinner died, Spinner didn't die. Spinner got to live. But it's specifically with the concept of Dabi, Toga, and Shigaraki having to die. Like, having to die. And I think the fallacy with that one is they didn't have to die. They just, much like the heroes in this story, lived out the ideology that they believed was correct. Was it objectively correct? No. Did they have good reasons for doing what they did? 100%. That's kind of the whole point, is like you're supposed to be able to see and empathize with them and understand why they're doing what they're doing. Still doesn't make it right. Like, it doesn't make it right that Shigaraki leveled multiple cities, or that Dabi murdered dozens of people. Like, that was even what Shoto said in the fight with Dabi. He's like, listen, I know our dad sucks just as much as you, but you chose to kill all of those people. That was not just because our dad sucks. You didn't have to go kill those people because our dad sucked. So, and every fight in this series has always been more about the emotional reasoning behind it. There's not a lot of fights, if any, in this series that are just, we're gonna throw hands for the sake of throwing hands. Like, even the training stuff, everyone's motivated by like, oh, I need to get my provisional license, or I want to win the joint training arc. Like, every fight in this series is always driven by an emotional... It's more of an emotional conflict than anything else. So, if you take something like Shoto and Dabi, they're not just throwing hands because one of them is evil and the other one is not. Shoto is keeping Dabi from killing more people because Dabi thinks killing people is okay. And Shoto's like, hey, that's not okay. That's actually not cool. So there's that conflict of ideas. Toga and Uraraka. Uraraka's like, hey, I understand that society sucks and society was bad, but you can't go around killing people in the guise of, oh, I love them. And obviously the biggest part of that like dynamic was Deku and Shigaraki, where Deku's like, hey, again, I understand society sucks. I get that. But also, you can't go around leveling all of these cities and doing all of these bad things and saying, oh, well, I'm like, I want to do what I want to do, because it's not right. And that is something that people miss because they're looking at the face value of like, oh, well, Shigaraki's dead, so Deku didn't save him. No, there's multiple lines. One where Gran Torino was like, hey, sometimes killing someone is the only way to save them. Like, you have to save them from themselves. And that's the only way to do that. But that's also presented in a light of not being the completely true and correct situation. But then with All Might and Deku's conversation a couple chapters ago, where he's like, hey, as long as that crying boy wasn't still in the Vestige realm, you saved Shigaraki. Like, and I think something that helps me understand that a little better is having the Christian perspective on it, of like, yes, you want to physically save someone, but it's more of a soul issue than anything else. Like, if you can save their soul, you kind of save everything else. Like, so to get to the root cause, to get to the root issue and fix it there is what Deku was trying to do. He was trying to save Tenko's soul more than anything else. But that requires like 2 more brain cells than the Twitter fans have. So obviously it's bad writing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this page. Like they'll say, Deku didn't say I love you, so it's not canon. So Bakugo could still we could still have Bakudeku, like we could still have Bakudeku next chapter. And I'm like, no, you're failing to see all of the subtext yet again in what this page means, in what this chapter means. And it's just so I'll never understand the Twitter fans. I can't wait for the series to be over so they can shut up. Like, I love the series. I have my own, like, I can't go on the spiel every single time. But I can't wait for it to be over so the Twitter discourse stops. It's going to be so peaceful. It's going to be like that scene of Nanami from Jujutsu Kaisen where he's chilling on the beach and he's just, like, completely at peace. That's how it's going to be next week, guys. Once the chapter's out and it's over, we're going to be at peace. And it's going to be okay. Because we'll have enjoyed the series for what it was, not for what the crappy Twitter leaker translators give. Which is another whole conversation. Everyone's blowing up at the leakers this week because apparently they mistranslated things. And in mistranslating things, misconstrued the entire point of the chapter. So now everyone's like, okay, well, maybe your translations were never correct, and maybe this is why we shouldn't judge chapters based on the leaks, because it's not official. And it's almost like that's not the way we were supposed to experience the chapter, which is why I stopped looking, like I stopped reading the physical, or not physical, but like stopped reading the leaks and just looked at the pictures and the panels and gleaned what I could from it. And then was like, okay, cool. That looks cool. I'll get the full context and see what it's all about on Sunday when the chapter drops. And that's it. Those 2 leakers, Rukasu and Ever, both are like, they're going down in flames. So, all right, let me read some of these chats here because you guys have been going off while I was going off. I actually love the Grandma taking his hand. I don't know why people wanted this kid to be the next big bad. We only have 1 more chapter. MHA prioritizes symbolism. Yes. Yes. That is another thing about this chapter is this interaction right here is meant to be a mirror. And I think it's even more prevalent because this is the same grandma who saw Shigaraki. So she could make the same mistake twice. But the fact that she didn't shows that, 1, that's our conclusion to, well, how do we stop the next Tomura Shigaraki from happening? And it's, like she says here, Izuku Midoriya demonstrated to society the need to support each other. He taught us that sitting back and doing nothing isn't an option. Because at the beginning of the series, we got to a point where everyone was like, well, the heroes will take care of it, so we don't need to be involved at all. And we're going to rely on the heroes. And that's how society got there. And that's also what Hawks is saying about bringing in more heroes than just the capital H professional heroes, because there are a lot of people who do stuff on the ground who aren't like this grandma is not, she didn't go to UA. I mean, maybe she did, but she didn't go to UA. She's not a pro hero. Like now, like she's being a hero in the sense of she's going to help this kid figure something out. Are we ever going to get a resolution of that? I don't know. Probably not. We may never find out what happens to this kid aside from this ending bit, right? But that was the whole point. Is it's the symbolism to show how society has changed, what is the new world that the story is ending in. You know what I mean? So That's the whole point of that. Do I think Horikoshi should have teased it the way he did? I don't know. Because it seems weird that we got that tease, like, what, 4 chapters ago? And then we got nothing about it for 4 chapters, and then it was just this. Like, I don't know. I think that's an interesting choice. I'm not, like, super mad about it. I just think it's an interesting direction for that to go. Ida's now a 3rd wheel in his primary friend group. Yeah. 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 Did you notice the green tea on page 2? What? Hold on. Oh. Oh, I see it right there. You're so right. How did I miss that? That's wild. You telling me Horikoshi put in green tea 2 panels before the IzuOcha conversation? He knows what he's doing. He's cooking, bro. Eri, Aoyama, Jiro, and Monoma made this chapter. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let's go back. I totally skimmed. That's what I'm looking for. Skimmed over it. We got Aoyama's party, which is so interesting because what is the last chapter about? I was thoroughly convinced that the last chapter was going to be us doing Aoyama's send-off party. And it was going to be like, but, you know, we're all still here and we can smile together. And that truly was My Hero Academia. What's the last chapter going to be about? Because I feel like we've wrapped everything. What is left? What is left to wrap up? Let's think. Because all of everything is wrapped. Right? I don't know. I do like this though. Monoma gets his statue. Good for him. We get to see Eri singing because that's what Aizawa said. He was like, "Hey, you don't get to die until you get to see Eri sing." Look at Deku up here. Look at him in the front row. Look at him cheering her on. What a dude. He's so real. Look at him. Look at her go. I can't wait for this whole scene to be extended in the anime with a new insert song, and it's going to be great. So okay, where was I? People act like the legal system is the only way to have legitimate punishment. They forget that psychological and emotional punishment is the realist punishment. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. There, like I said, there's a lot of fans who read the leaks and then they move on and they don't even get the full context from the official chapter and they judge the series based off that. And I think it's dumb because they're missing so much context. There's so many bad takes on Twitter. I Am Here became I Am Here for You, which is the thing that made Deku a better hero than All Might to begin with. And that's one of all the great messages. But then again, Twitter doesn't understand the concept of reaching out and emphasizing in general. It's just people yelling and pushing each other further into corners. Yeah. Yeah, I think Twitter could learn a lot from this series, you know? Maybe we shouldn't be evil. Maybe we shouldn't be mean to people. I know that's not like the crux of what you're saying, but Twitter could learn a lot because you're right. The I Am Here really did turn into like I'm here for you personally. It became a lot more personal because Deku made it personal. All Might made it very like broad. Like I am here. Not necessarily for you, but everything is fine because I'm here. Like physically. But when Deku says I am here, it's more emotional. Like he's like, I am here for you. Physically, yes, but also emotionally, I'm here. Masterclass. Horikoshi knows exactly what he's doing. What baffles me is all the people justifying Toga and Spinner when they massacred so many and felt zero remorse, yet they say Endeavor deserved punishment. Yeah, like, those takes always come from, like, the League of Villains sympathizers who are like, oh my gosh, Toga's my waifu. Spinner can do no wrong because he's such a cool... He's just misunderstood, guys. He plays League of Legends. He plays video games like me. He's just a little misunderstood. No. No. I don't think you understand. No. That's not how that works. No. Not to compare fictional characters to Jesus, but this definitely reminds me of how Jesus got punished more than the criminals that were crucified alongside him, and people demanded he be crucified. People are just hateful. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying Endeavor's Jesus. He's not. He's like the furthest. Nah, maybe not. But you know what I mean? Like, I do understand what you're saying, though, about, like, the people hated him and not the true villain. Even though, like, I understand what you're saying. I get it. Ooh. Are you guys going back and forth? Are you guys going back and forth here? About, Okay, so here's what I'll say. Because I see you guys talking about, like, Toga. Spinner and Toga had felt remorse. That's the point. Toga was in tears even during her first murder. However, they felt cornered and radicalized within the League of Villains. Yeah. That was kind of the... I think I talked about that last week. There was a lot of... Like... The League was kind of just trying to do small-scale change, and then All for One dragged and radicalized them down that path. And it was kind of like, well, we're too far into the bit to give up now, so we might as well just full send. And then they all ended up paying for it in some way, shape, or form. Spinner being he finally found friends, and now all his friends are dead because they went about it the wrong way. Toga was isolated from society. And I think you could argue Toga is an interesting case because at the end of the day, she did use her quirk for good, but that also doesn't undo all of the bad stuff she did. So, and then, like, Dabi ended up paying for it because, like, you see in that chapter, he starts crying when he finds out that Shoto's favorite food was soba, and they had that in common, and, like, he never got to know Shoto at all, and that was an Endeavor thing. But, like, now Dabi's gonna die. Like, he'll die before long, and then it's all over. So they all kind of still suffered consequences while also living out the lives they saw fit that they wanted to live. And that's another point of the series is, like, you can live your life however you want. If you want to live a destructive life, that doesn't mean people aren't going to try to stop you if it gets too destructive. But ultimately, your actions have consequences, and that, I mean, that's what happened. So, yeah, they did, like, view themselves as freedom fighters. And they thought, see, the best villains are the ones who ultimately believe exactly what they do is right. Like, every action they take, they think that's the right step, because in their mind, they are the hero. And I think that's why we got the whole My Villain Academia. That was supposed to be the twist, is, like, from our perspective, they're villains, but from their perspective, this is, they're the heroes saving society and fighting for the change that they want to see. So, that, yeah, the best villains are the ones that you can empathize with, and they think everything they do is right, even when it's not. Austin's here. Hey, Nick, got off Twitter for good. because of the ship toxicity. It was way too much. Also, mental health couldn't handle all the ruthless Ochako slander. Oh my gosh. Good for you. You were able to do the one thing that most people cannot, and that's escape. It's crazy because, yeah, it's just insane. I would leave, but I can't. I'm too invested. I have 1,500 followers now. It's also a great way to like talk about stuff I want to talk about and promote the streams and stuff. Like a lot of the people in chat are from Twitter, so. But also, I understand that I try not to engage with the My Hero fandom at all because it's just most of them are so horrid, and the Bakudeku shippers are some of the most delusional people on the planet. Togachako shippers are the most delusional people on the planet. Usually they're the same group of people because the only reason they ship those two characters with the other is so that you can't put Deku and Uraraka together, even though that's what's been foreshadowed the entire series. This is also a Shonen Jump series, dog. What did you expect? Like, Shonen just doesn't swing that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's just never how Shonen has been. Shonen always has the stereotypical MC and his, like, main female lead always end up together. Like, that's the trope. Why would Horikoshi deviate from it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm a hardcore IzuOcha shipper, and it gets so much hate on there. It's so true. I've never seen one ship get more hate than IzuOcha. Like, for real. I don't understand why people hate it so much. I think the reason people hate it is because it's antithetical to the Bakudeku agenda. And that's really the main reason people hate it. Same with Ochako in general. Some really don't understand. She's so much more than a love interest. This chapter showed that. Yeah. It's like that guy I went back and forth with last week. He was slandering Ochako, and I was like, hey, man, you're not making very good points. And it just turned into this back and forth, and it was so unproductive and useless, and it didn't get us anywhere. So, yeah, it's probably, listen, not everybody should be on Twitter. I really don't think so. If I didn't have as many followers as I did, I probably would also get off Twitter. That's why I have a 2-hour time limit every day. And once I go over that, I'll usually stop. And I'll be like, okay, that's my limit for the day. And that's for all social media shared. Like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. And I think that's all I have. I used to have like Snapchat and stuff, but I deleted Snapchat because I never use it. It's also dumb. I barely use Facebook. I just use it to keep up with family members and such. And then, what else? Instagram. I barely use Instagram now. That's crazy. I will say that I wish we got to see Koichi from Vigilantes talk to Deku just once since we saw him in the reconstruction effort. Maybe next chapter. Could be. I'm really trying to think what the next chapter is. Like, do we finally get a resolute answer? But I feel like we have a final answer on Deku's quirk right here, where he's like, I completed One for All, that amalgamation of power woven together by courage and heroism. That feels like a final... Because Bakugo's like, how's the Ember doing? It's fine. Like... So what's the next chapter then? Is it just... Like, I'm not saying this is where the story should have ended. But I genuinely don't know what there's left to wrap up. Other than maybe, like... Hold on, I'm waiting for it to pop up on screen. Because I think Austin and I had the same thought at the exact same time. It probably will be a time skip. It absolutely will be a time skip. Now that I think about it and you said that, absolutely will be a time skip. because this all feels very set-up-y. I'm willing to put a bet down right now that the next chapter time skips to class 3A and their graduation and them becoming heroes, and we get to see like a rebuilt Japan and how society is doing a year, 2 years later, and we'll get more like IzuOcha's canon. Bakugo will probably be paired up with someone. Todoroki will probably be paired up with someone because, you know, all the main characters have to be in relationships because that's another trope. We might get a follow-up on this kid who the granny helped. Maybe he's going to UA. So it, I don't know. I think a time skip is definitely viable. I don't care for any shipping, but I think we won't get a super romantic ending that a lot of people hope for. It's not Hori's style, and he likes to keep things open for interpretation. That's true. I could see him putting, like, a panel of, like, oh, Bakugo's talking to this chick, and Todoroki's talking to this chick, and, like, oh, it's implied, but he never directly says anything. If he's gonna directly say anything romantic, it's gonna be IzuOcha. That's the only one that I think he would get super hardcore specific on. So yeah, I think a time skip is likely, and I'm hoping it'll be an extended chapter because this one was 17. So I'm hopeful that it'll be like a double length, like maybe a 30-page. I highly doubt it, but I would love that. Just to like make sure all the loose ends are tied up. And maybe it's like, oh, Deku's going to go overseas and do an internship in the US. I don't know. So maybe one, come on, Horikoshi, one more, squeeze one more Deku costume revision in there, and all my life is yours. Just one more. Just one more. Just one more. One more costume revision. My life is yours. Bring things full circle. I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes. Dude, I don't... Society really is the only thing left to wrap up, but we can't wrap up Society without like a time skip, because you have to see how Society has improved since the end of the series. So Deku's confirmed quirkless, right? Yes and no. He doesn't have one for all. He doesn't have one for all, but he still has the embers like All Might does, so he still has a power to use. But I don't know. Also, Golden, thank you. I did talk about it. It was the League of Villains thing, and I kind of went on that tirade already. There is another thing I want to talk about, though. Interesting thought. We never see any Chinese heroes in any of the movies or anything. I wonder what their hero system is like. We probably don't see Chinese heroes for the same reason we don't see North Korean heroes. And I'll just leave it there. Their hero system is probably really scuffed, if I had to be completely honest. Now, hear me out. I think the series will end on an interview with Deku addressing the opinions floating around on Shigaraki. Could. I could also see it ending with one final Deku narration, just like the first chapter did, kind of like paralleling, bringing everything full circle. So Deku talking about society, because that was kind of his whole thing at the beginning, was like not all men are created equal. Like that whole spiel. So I think you could see it ending that way, but I don't know. That's just me. All right. One more chapter. Uno más. One more. So here's what I want to do. I'm gonna make the thumbnail for next week while we talk. Let's have a convo. Let's have a solid convo here, guys. Let's have a solid convo here while I work on some thumbnails. So first of all, here's the progression. 4:30. I've had this built for like weeks. I know what I'm gonna put here. So fun convo is I need this. Watch this, guys. You ready? Copy image, and then that sucker's gonna go right here. Boom. And then once that renders in, I'm gonna spruce it up. Okay, so honest convo here. They announced this week that they're gonna be announcing a ton of My Hero stuff next week, like new projects and events and stuff. So what do you guys think we're getting based on that announcement? Like, what is the expectation? Where is everybody at with expectations for that? Because in my mind, when they say events, I think like, oh, they're going to do art expos, yada, 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 like blah, 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 like whatever. That's fine. Dude, yo, Rare, I don't need to smack this with a... I don't need to smack this with a upres. Dude, it's already upres. Let's go. Thank you, Shonen Jump, for uploading a 4K high-quality image that I don't have to buff, as usual. So, anyway, I see events like, oh, they're going to do art expos, they're going to do yada, 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 like, whatever. As for physical event or announcements, I think they're going to go with, what is that, a Glow 10-1500? Sorry, I have to copy everything over. I think we're going to get a new anime announcement next week. I don't know if it's going to be Vigilantes or not. I think Vigilantes is the only way they could go. I couldn't see them doing like a team-up missions anime. That just doesn't make sense to me. What else could they do? I really hope... I talked about it a little bit. I think it was just me replying to one of Golden's tweets. What I would give for a really good My Hero game. In the sense of, like... When I say a really good My Hero game, I mean take, like, a game like Spider-Man, right? And just give us... Let us play as Deku as the main character. And use all the different quirks. Bro had... Like, if you set it post, like, pre the final battle, right? Like, you can fix up something, right? Give me a world, or give me a video game where I can run around in, like, an open world, or even, like, an RPG type game, where I can use all of Deku's different quirks. Or even you get to unlock them as you progress throughout the story of whatever this game is. Like, make it completely non-anime canon. Do whatever. Just let me have fun. What I would give for a really good My Hero game that really utilizes the quirks as superpowers. That would be great. We're definitely getting a movie or season 8 announcement or a Vigilantes anime. It has to be some animated announcement for next year. Yes, I am very curious to see how, because at the end of every My Hero season, they announce the next one. Like, same day, it's always the, like, post-credit preview thing. They're like, oh, TV anime 7th season in production or whatever. I'm really interested to see if they go the Demon Slayer route And thank you for all the compliments on the thumbnail, by the way. I'm really interested to see if they go a Demon Slayer route and make the final arc a movie. I don't think they will, because that just feels so out of character for Bones as a studio and for My Hero, because My Hero has never had like canon movies, but Demon Slayer, like, they obviously did the Mugen Train, and then we've gotten the 2 like recap compilation movies. So I don't know if they're going to go the movie route, because I think there's even just a little too much chapter-wise to cover there, because I don't think they're getting to chapter 400. Everyone's like, they're going to get to chapter 403 or 400 by the end of this season. I'm like, there's no way. There's literally no way. It's not going to happen. So, I don't know. I think they might. I feel like it'd be way too soon to announce season 8 as the final season. I think that's going to be saved for whenever season 7 ends. It's going to be season 8, final season of My Hero Academia in production for 2025. And next fall, if they stick on the same schedule, if they don't do it sooner, they'll start the final season. It'll be a 13-episode season, and they'll wrap everything up. They'll bookend it just like they did with season 1, and that'll be it. So there's that. What else could they do next week? I don't know. How would Bones go around the age rating for vigilantes? Bones has done dark stuff. Hold on. Let's look up Studio Bones's work. Actually, I'm going to start the search over here because I don't want to dox myself. Studio Bones anime. Let's take a look at what they've done here, because they've done a lot. Okay, so they've done Full Metal Alchemist, which is, I would argue, a little darker than My Hero. They've done, obviously, My Hero, Noragami, Mob Psycho, Soul Eater, the original Full Metal Alchemist. Whoa! Bones did Ouran High School Host Club? What? Okay. Bungo Stray Dogs, which is definitely darker than My Hero. I've been watching that one with my sister. They did Snow White with the red hair? No shot. Tokyo Blockade Battlefront. I need to watch that one. What else? Skate the Infinity. Eureka 7. No way. Bones did not do Josie the Tiger and the Fish. They did not. Did they really? That's crazy. I didn't. Okay. That's wild. So, needless to say, Bones has done a lot. And they're not afraid to get dark. Oh, they did Ico Incarnation? I watched that one. That one was pretty good. Metallic Rouge. I forgot that came out this year. What else? Literally anything Fullmetal Alchemist, pretty much. Anything My Hero, anything Fullmetal Alchemist. Yeah, they've done a lot. They could do it. Vanitas. Hey, Zeke's here. Thanks for popping in, even if you're super busy. Hope you get done whatever you're going to do. Oh, yeah. Also, they're doing this new Gachiakuta anime. So they have that now, too. The movie team at Bones has no projects, so maybe they're helping on the season 7 finale. I mean, it could be. This whole season of My Hero feels like it's a lot better managed and directed. It feels like the director this season, because I know it's a different director than the last 2 seasons, feels like she actually knows what to put emphasis on and what to not put emphasis on. Because that was the weird part about season 6 and even season 5 is like season 5 of My Hero, they put a lot of emphasis on the joint training and then little to none on My Villain Academia. And that's like, okay, that was like another major arc that got not a lot of attention. And then season 6, they put a ton of time and attention into the Mirko versus High-End fight at the beginning and Endeavor versus Shigaraki. And then when Deku pulls up, they like start pulling out the sliding PNGs and like just kind of take a day off in a way. And then they come back in the second core with Dark Deku arc, and they're like, all right, we're full sending. We're like going crazy. And I'm like, dude, not that none of these arcs are important, but like you gotta, like, we did not need as much effort in the Mirko fight. That some of that should have been transitioned to the Deku versus Shigaraki fight. That was huge. That's like a massive fight, and they just kind of... So that's the one thing that's nice about season 7 is it feels like this new director, she knows what's important, where to put the emphasis, what needs the time, and I also think the studio overall knows this is like their second to last season, so they're like, oh, okay, well, we're running out of, like, we need to chill. We need to pick this up before we go back. So, Golden's heading out. All right, thanks for staying. See you next week for the last chapter. It's going to be great. So, yeah, I don't know. I think next week we'll see some kind of anime announcement, but I don't think it'll be... I think it'll be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting end because the series is ending, but also, you know, we're going to see all kinds of stuff. Next week's My Hero episode is the last one that's going to air while the manga is airing. So that's interesting. That's what a tragedy. What a day. But with all that being said, my only issue with season 7 is the still shots and kind of smudgy art. Yeah, I can understand that. There's a couple moments where there were still frames, and I was like, oh, no, that should have been moving. No. But I will take a couple still frames if we keep getting episodes at the height and quality of the 2 flash fires, the Shoto and Dabi fight, and then Light Fades to Rain, the most recent episode. If we keep getting episodes of that quality, I can understand a couple still frames here and there that like they're panning across a still frame. I'll cut my losses. As long as the moments that look good, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. As long as the moments that are supposed to be these big bombastic fight moments look good, I'll take a couple still frames. I'm not going to be too picky. Because you also have to remember, this is a yearly production. Like, we don't know how far ahead they are, like how much of season 7 is done, if the whole thing is done, or if they're still like making changes and corrections to the last episode, or if they've started fully working on season 8 yet. Like, so we don't know. It's not like Demon Slayer, where we know Demon Slayer, they're pretty far ahead, at least in terms of production. So yeah, that all being said, I'm also gonna head out. I will see you guys next week for the final chapter of My Hero Academia. As always, if you're here live, thanks for being here live. If you're just watching and you didn't chat, I know you're here. It's awesome. Don't have to chat. Don't have to chat for me to know you're here. You can also, if you're watching the VOD, check out all the other ones. We'll be back next week, same time, for the final chapter of My Hero Academia. So hope you all have a great Sunday. Have a great week. I'll see you guys next week. And until then, peace out.